Okay, hello everybody, welcome to TìandTarot, or welcome back to TìandTarot if you've been here before. So this is voiceover Katie coming to you because I didn't do an intro for this video. So this is part 3, I do believe, of hopefully a 4-part series, but now that I think about it, it's probably going to be more. But either way, it's part 3 of our tarot symbols in tarot, what they mean, comparing them across 3 decks. My most traditional one that I have, although I don't really have a traditional one, and 2 very alternative decks so that you can see them both when they're present in the tarot decks and when they're absent, and how that can change the meaning of the card or the interpretation based on the deck you have. So every deck is different, so take a look at yours and make sure that yours do or don't have the symbols, and if they don't, how does this change things for you when you interpret your cards. So this video is for anyone looking to learn more about tarot, or anyone who just wants to know more about specific symbols so that when you get your own readings done for you, you can deepen the meaning of the reading and the interpretation. If, let's say, you got a lot of crowns in your cards, you could come to this video and check out what that means. So without delaying any further, let's get into the video. So next up, we have flowers as our symbol in tarot, and this comes up in a few cards. So it comes up in the Queen of Coins, the Page of Coins, and the Ace of Coins. It comes up in the 6 of Cups, the 3 of Cups, and the 2 of Cups, as well as the 4 of Wands and the Strength card. So flowers are really great because they represent a hefty amount of things. They represent beauty and growth, of course, as well as the cycles of life, blossoming, growing, and then wilting. They also represent blossoming potential, blooming potential, as well as the gifts that nature gives you. So of course this comes up in the Queen of Coins, because this is a card about like that compassionate, caring kind of person, and this is what nature gives you. It gives you these kind, nice, sweet qualities. So that's what's being represented, sort of like a sweetness with the flowers. Wow, there's no flowers in the Page of Coins over here. We got a few over here. Okay. But in the Page of Coins, this is about opportunity, this card. So with opportunity, that is kind of like the little seedlings of a flower just about to sprout and blossom, because that represents opportunities to grow, opportunities to develop, and to reach your sort of peak and to blossom. So that's what these flowers are representing here. It's the exact same thing with the Ace of Coins, with that little flower there. It is the potential that you have to grow and build this thing, to build your finances. The flowers in the 6 of Cups, because this is like a nostalgic card, a sweet card full of like joy and innocence. The flowers here, because these are like fresh flowers, like newly budding, it represents that sort of like pure, innocent, new kind of energy, but it also represents the beauty in growing. Like, yes, those are fond memories that you look back on in your childhood, but isn't it so beautiful that you got to grow up and become somebody else and sort of grow into who you are, and you got to like live another day to explore your life, so it's also about the beauty of growth and the beauty in the cycles of life, of you being a child and then an adult, and then it's like the mother, maiden, crone imagery. And it represents that blossoming potential from your childhood, and that this is all a gift from nature. In the 3 of Cups, this is of course 3 friends getting along, partying, celebrating, loving life. And it's again about the cycles of life. You enjoying the moments where you do get to celebrate, like slow down, pause and enjoy them, because they might go, they go fast. And it's also about your blossoming potential and the potential of the night as well, because I do remember with the 3 of Cups, there's potential for like the night to have a lot of opportunities for you. So for example, like maybe you bump into an old friend when you're on this night out, and this old friend offers you a job opportunity when you get talking, and blah 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 blah. So it's like things like that with the flowers here. With the 2 of Cups, you can see a little flower here and this little flower crown that's been made as well. And the flowers here are like that, the beautiful connection between the two here. It's also about living out the cycles of life together, blossoming together, growing together, and the beautiful gift that nature's given you to love. Flowers in the 4 of Sticks or the 4 of Wands is so lovely, because it's like the beautiful cycles of life. They're entering a new phase together, they're moving on to a new phase together, or on your own potentially. And it's a new cycle for you, a new opportunity for you to grow and change and develop. With the Strength card, the flowers are representing the opportunity to grow and heal from things, to grow into a different person who can maybe harness their emotions better, to grow into a person who can balance things well, and to grow into a person who can make friends with their dark side or make friends with other species and overcome any prejudices you have or differences as well. So that's kind of what the flowers are representing here. So our next symbol in the tarot is fruit, which only comes up in the Three of Cups. And fruit can represent nourishment as well as abundance, because it can grow in abundance, but also to have fruit is a sign of abundance as well. Vitality as well as rewards for growth. You know, they continue to grow and boom, there you got some fruit. As well as the sustenance of life, the thing that keeps you going. So it's representing the longevity of fun and enjoyment and experiences, the longevity of life, the rewards of life, because this is a celebration card. So you're getting to have fun, you're getting to have a night off. So it's representing that. It's also representing an abundance of joy and happiness and vitality as well. And that these moments with friends are really what nourish you and keep you going and make you really enjoy life. So this is another key quality about the fruit in this card. Okay, so our next symbol is the garden. So this comes up in a few cards. It comes up in the Star, the Ace, 9, Queen, and King of Coins as well. So gardens are much bigger than the flowers and fruits. This is representing an accumulation of all of those symbols. So it's about cultivation and growing something big, especially in terms of preparing for the future, which is exactly why they come up in all of the, not all of, but quite a few coin cards, because this is about growing and prepping for the future. The Ace is starting off with that growth, the 9 is getting really good at it, and then the Queen and King is you're prepped, baby, you're good to go, you've got everything you need for the future. It's also about potential, especially with the Ace of Coins, and fostering your desires as well, which is where the Star card comes in. Because if you're wishing on a star, hoping for a dream to come true, you're fostering your desires, you're putting work into it, you're investing in it, you're manifesting it and trying to create that abundance for yourself, which is exactly why it comes up in all of these cards. Okay, so our next symbol is grapes, and this comes up in the Three of Cups, the King, 10, and 9 of Coins, and the Devil card. So grapes represent abundance and celebration, and also spiritual fulfillment, as well as sort of harvesting your efforts, as well as the sweetness of life. So of course that's going to come up in the Three of Cups, where there's lots of enjoyment, you're enjoying life, you're reaping the rewards of your effort. You've worked hard and now it's time to play hard. You're celebrating, you're abundant in love and joy. With the King of Cups, this is the same thing. You're celebrating, you're reaping the rewards of what you've earned for yourself. So that's where those are coming in. And there's also spiritual connection here as well, because especially as you can see, the grapes are coming from the top down, which always indicates spiritual or higher realm connection if it's coming from the sky down. So grapes in the 10 of pentagrams also represent the same thing, abundance and celebration, as well as the rewards for your efforts and getting to enjoy life. Life is sweet for you because now you've created this legacy for yourself, you got lots of money, you're passing it down through generation to generation, so it's just enjoying life basically. The 9 of Coins is more, when you see the grapes, it's more about you growing your sweet life and your abundance. You're harvesting your efforts now. So as you can see, the grapes are coming from the ground up, which means you're growing it. You're the one kind of putting the effort in, and it's materializing for you, and it's going to bring in a lot of success. But at the minute, you're the one putting the work in to get there. And then with the Devil card, the grapes are kind of coming up as a symbol of overindulgence. You're indulging too much in life. You've got a lot of abundance, too much. You're kind of being a little bit gluttonous and enjoying the sweetness of life without the balance there. You're not really putting in the effort it would require to harvest that sweetness of life, to harvest something from your efforts. There's a lack of effort there basically. So next up we have the symbol of the hammer. in the tarot, which only comes up in 2 cards, which is the 8 and 3 of Pentacles. And of course, as you can imagine, hammers represent action and hard work. You know, you're hammering away at something. It's also about transformation, because whatever you're building is going to transform from, like, let's say you're building a wall. At the start, it's just a brick, or a pile of bricks that are, you know, unassembled, but it's going to transform into a wall. It's also about constructive action. You're actively making decisions. It's not just sporadic, random, unthought action. It's very thoroughly thought out action. It's also about building and shaping your reality, which is exactly why that comes up in the 3 and 8 of coins, because both of these cards, these individuals are building and shaping the reality they want. The 8 of coins is ambitious to achieve a lot, and they want to grow from this sort of beginner phase, this amateur phase, into a master. And with the 3 of coins, you're working on something with friends, you want it to grow, you want to build it. Next up, we've got the symbol of the hand, which comes up in 4 cards in the tarot, which is all of the ace cards. So the hand is kind of like an offering. They're offering you something. They're handing something to you. It's also quite divine, because usually the hand is materializing out of a cloud. So it's like divine connection, but just connection in general, as well as like power and manifestation. You know, this hand is offering you an opportunity out of the cloud. You have manifested something, because the ace is a starting point. So the fact that you've even been offered something means that's coming from a place of manifestation and shaping and influencing your reality in the world around you as well. So that's why that comes up in all of the ace cards. So in this deck, there are no hands. Let's see with this one. Oh, okay, we've got 1 hand, 2 hands here, but they're skeleton hands. They decided to put 2 hands in the illustration of this deck, which is then, of course, representing that manifestation, connection, power. But maybe there's a lack of connection or manifestation here, or they feel like that was covered anyway, because this is a sword card and this has the circle with the dove and the flowing water. So similar messages all round. And then over here, I think you'll actually get to see all of the hands coming out of the clouds. So yeah, there you go. That's what that represents. Okay, so our next symbol is the heart, which only comes up in 2 cards, so the 3 of Swords and the Empress. So the heart is, of course, a representation of your feelings, your love, your compassion, your emotional connection, your empathy, your ability to connect. And in the 3 of Blades, this is heartache. You know, your empathy was taken advantage of. Your emotional connection has been severed between you and maybe someone else or something. Your love has been wounded. Your compassion has got you in pain, basically, because these swords are stabbing through the heart. We also see the heart in the Empress. So in the Empress, what the heart is kind of representing here is emotional capacity and empathy. The Empress is a strong empathy card. I kind of think of the Empress as like, kind of like a bat. I know that's weird, but like bats are like very intuitive, very empathic, very spiritual, and that's like the vibe of the Empress. So with the heart here, it's about her empathy and her emotional connection with herself, with others, with the world around her, with nature, and her deep love and compassion. Our next symbol is the horse, which of course turns up in all of the Knight cards of all the suits, as well as the 6 of Wands, the Death card and the Sun card. So traditionally the horse would turn up in the Death card, which we'll see in more of this deck, whereas in these 2 more unconventional decks, there isn't one. But horses represent genuinely so much. I don't even think I could cover all of it here. They represent like intelligence, virility. They represent strength and power and freedom and movement. Taking charge of your journey, propelling forward, quick movement, or if your horse is kind of parked up in the tarot card, this is like stagnant. Not really moving anywhere, though you have the capability and the power and the ability to do that. You're just like for some reason stuck. So that's one way to think of it. Like this horse right here, both of its legs are just straight down, it's not really moving, whereas this one you can see is actually like trotting, it is going somewhere. With that in mind, you can take a look at like the Knight cards and see what the horse is doing to gauge the interpretation. So there might be a lack of movement in the Knight of Cups in this particular deck, a lack of freedom in a sense, because you are at the mercy of the horse. Whereas over here, this is definitely freedom, movement, moving in your journey, taking charge, moving forward. With this Knight of Swords, you can see that the horse is like speeding ahead, going very fast. So this is about quick journeys, a lot of strength, a lot of movement, lots of freedom. Taking charge for sure, definitely propelling forward. It's like all of the symbols of the horse are coming out here. So we're back to quite like a nice little slow movement. There's pretty much a lack of movement here, but this one's doing like a nice little slow trot in the Knight of Coins. So steady progress is being made in this avenue. And with the Knight of Wands, we're seeing literally jumping here. So a lot of movement in this deck, whereas this card, it is showing more movement than the other decks. But I still wouldn't necessarily call this quite a fast horse here. So there is definitely progress being made. Maybe a lot of strategizing with the intelligence of the horse. Then we've got the Six of Wands. So this is like the victory celebration, riding in on your horse and having everyone like cheering and chanting your name and being like, yeah, we won, you know, kind of thing. So this is definitely about being rewarded for that. So the horse here is representing the strength you needed to take those actions, and now the freedom you have earned yourself, as well as taking charge of your journey because you've done something that has instigated this. With the Death card, the horse here is representing that you're in charge of your journey. Yes, something's come to an end, but it's come to an end because it needed to and because it was right for you, and maybe even you chose that ending with the freedom element going on with the horse. So it could be like you chose to end a toxic habit, you know? Maybe you chose to take part in like dry Jan or something, you know? So it's like you're choosing that path and you're making the movement to take charge of your journey. And you're moving forward in terms of your, you know, moving on into the next phase of your life. Okay, and the Horse in the Sun card, this is that virility I was talking about, that energy, that power, the movement. It's about making progress as well as you being this absolute powerhouse with the sun combined with the horse here. It's like you have everything you need to create the successes in your life, and you're going to be so successful, and that's going to help you attain freedom. But it's because of your inner strength that you're even able to do this, and your journey is really moving forwards. That's what the horse is representing here. For this symbol, we're talking about houses, which come up in the 2 and 10 of Cups. So what do houses represent? When you think of houses, this can represent stability, you know, your safe place, security, an area of protection. It's your inner realm, it's your personal space, it's your foundation of life, it's your comfort place. So when we see houses in the 2 of Cups, what this usually off in the horizon somewhere. But what this usually means is that this relationship or connection is very stable, it's your safe space, they're very comforting. It also alludes to the foundations of life that you're going to be building together. With the 10 of Cups, this is the same thing. So there's the house there on the horizon. So this is a card of family, of you like maybe getting a partner and then having children. It's usually about that, but you know, if that's not for you, you can picture it as whatever family means to you. And so the house, again, is that representation of you building a life together. You're building the foundations of your life. You're building a strong connection with each other, and you are each other's stability, safe space. You're each other's security and stability, as well as you're sharing your inner realm and personal space with someone. You're agreeing to share your life with this person. You know, no more decorating rooms just on your own. You know, you got to share how you're going to pick how it's decorated. No more time to yourself, okay? It's always going to be filled with somebody else. That is what the house is representing here. Okay, so next up we have the symbol of ice, and this turns up usually in the Hermit. They're usually on a patch of ice, as you can see here, like a little island almost, because they're like out in the cold, they're isolated, they're waiting because you know, they're kind of stranded on this little island of ice, and they need the ice to move somewhere else so they can hop to the next bit. It's usually about unseen growth because you don't know what's happening beneath the surface of that ice. You know, is it melting, which would be bad, it's regressing. Or is it, you know, growing stronger and this piece of ice is actually getting thicker and it's becoming more of a stable foundation. Is also about profound inner change. That's something that ice can represent. So that's one of the main reasons why it's featured in the Hermit, because it's so fitting, because this is a time of profound inner change and isolation and needing to figure things out before you move. So that's why you're kind of stuck in place a little bit. And it's also about unseen growth in the sense that with the Hermit card, there's a strong sense of you don't see what's happening, you don't see the progress you're making, you don't see the future you're building for yourself, but you are building it. So next up, we've got the infinity symbol, which turns up in 3 cards. So that is the Two of Coins, the Magician, and the Strength card. So straight away you can see it right here, wrapped around these coins. So the infinity symbol, of course, represents infinity. So eternity as well as cycles, because this is just continuing. Balance as well, because it's dual. And then the interconnectedness of everything, how everything weaves into everything, and the continuous flow of energy. So with the Two of Coins, this is kind of about you juggling a lot. And so it's like the responsibilities, the tasks, the effort is continuous. It's this continuous flow. There's a continuous cycle, but you're finding a way to balance everything. You're finding a way to balance the responsibilities of life as well as the things you've got going on in the background and all the fun things you're getting up to. With the Magician card, you'll usually see an infinity sign just above their head, which is representing the fact that this is somebody who has infinite manifestation possibilities. They can create anything they want. Everything is connected and they know that, and they have a little bit of everything to use in order to grow what they want to grow, in order to create balance in their life and some sort of interconnectedness to something, to have a continuous flow of energy. They always have this power at hand to use and yield. And once again, with the Strength card, we've got the infinity symbol above their head again. So it's about the interconnectedness between this person and this animal in terms of like the interconnectedness between you and your emotions, but also there is that sub-message here of bonding with animals, bonding with species that aren't necessarily yours. Like, we've been known to domesticate so many animals over time because we've built such strong bonds with them and trust and connection that they've ended up, you know, knowing and trusting that they can rely on us and vice versa, and we can both mutually get something out of this. For example, like, people used to keep cats as pets because they were really good pest control, but then the pet in return gets fed and gets, you know, a safe shelter to stay where there's no other predators. So it's things like that. You know, you could get a guard dog and you, in exchange for its guardianship, you feed it and you take care of it and you house it and you love it. So it's kind of about that infinite connection and interconnectedness between you and everything else, as well as having a good balance. So the Strength card is that good balance of maturity, healing, emotional strength, but then knowing when you need to be a little bit firmer as well. Not just gentle and compassionate, but sometimes you need to be firm in what you're setting, what boundary you're setting, or what you're saying or doing if the message isn't clear. Okay, so next up we've got the Iris, which only turns up in the Temperance card. And the Iris represents a few different things. So it can represent messages, especially pertaining to like hope and divine communication, receiving insights, connecting with higher realms, things like that. And usually the Iris is on their head, yes, which you can see. So with the Temperance card, this is very much a card that is linked to divine communication, a connection and a back and forth between the realms, because this is someone who is interlocked and connected with everything. They are very tempered. They have found like enlightenment, basically, emotional fulfillment and peace. So very connected to what we think of when you think of like a divine being. Next up we have jewels, which turn up only in the Seven of Cups. And jewels can represent a few different things. So of course value, because jewels are like valuable, and abundance as well, because who would have jewels but, you know, the wealthy. It's like a symbol of wealth. So we get abundance in that, as well as inner treasure and inner wealth, because it's in the cup. So because it's inside of the cup, which the cups are representative of your like emotions and your feelings. So it's like inner wealth, inner abundance, inner treasure, and recognizing your worth as well. So that's why it comes up in the Seven of Cups. Next up we've got keys, which only turn up in the Hierophant card. So you can see down here 2 keys, over there 2 keys. I don't think there are any keys in this one. But the keys represent access to things, of course, like opening new doors, being able to go from one place to the next, finding solutions to problems and unlocking potential. It's also about new opportunities and insights. So the keys here are kind of like the Hierophant gets to move between like realms, because in a sense they are connected to the spiritual world. So they have the keys and the access to the gates. You know, they are the one who maybe gets to make decisions. They're maybe the one who gets to receive higher messages and then convey those to people. So they have access to this sort of knowledge or power that maybe an ordinary person wouldn't have access to. They also have access to finding solutions for people, because typically people might go to a Hierophant kind of as a confidant or an unjudgmental space to vent to, who can then give them, you know, advice. So it's things like that. Next up we have the lamp, which is in the Hermit, so it's right there. And lamps can represent illumination and guidance, and that's really what it's representing here in the Hermit, is that illumination and guidance. And in the Hermit it also represents clarity as well as dispelling any darkness, because the Hermit is seeking clarity. They want to escape the darkness and be led from it, and the lamp is exactly what's leading them. And it's shedding light on the unknown as well, so maybe secrets or unseen truths coming to light. So for example, maybe not seeing your progress and then one day you just see it, or there's maybe a secret going around that you don't know that eventually comes out. So this is what the lamp is representing. And the last symbol is the Laurel, and the Laurel comes up in the 7, 6 and 4 of cups, as well as the Chariot card and the World card. So the Laurel is right there, and then it is also right there. So the Laurel represents a few different things. It represents victory and honour, as well as achievement, as well as recognition for your efforts in reaching your goal. So that is why it's coming up in all of these cards, because you're reaching a goal. You're reaching success and victory. There's movements being made. There's a reward here, especially with the World card. So this is why Laurel comes up here. And that is our last symbol of the day. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe. But yeah, keep your eyes peeled and the rest of the symbols will eventually come out. But for now, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, comment and subscribe. And I hope to see you here on Tuesdays and Thursdays for more tarot readings or tarot related videos on TìandTarot. Bye!